Today's springtime video is going to be on this tractor. I want to make sure I got it in the steering went out. I don't know if you can see that whole front axle is jarring. So my genius idea, and sometimes my first idea is not always my best idea, but like they used to say to me, Commander, come on over here, figure this out, please, come on over here. It's like, okay, what do you want? Don't butter me up. Well, you know. And sometimes, as I said, you look at something, it's not always the thing that you are going to do. Okay, it's once you get something apart, things change. So if that happens to you, don't feel like you failed because you got something apart, because for the moment you might not have an idea. Okay, and almost every other project that I've done, uh, even just lately, has been like that. Not to mention, like I said, airframes. Uh, Airframes, a lot of that stuff is pretty straightforward. You're not going to deviate from pretty much the protocols and stuff. So my genius idea is there's a old Craftsman. With the reason why I saved it is because the steering was bad on this thing from day one. It's like an amusement park ride, where you turn when you get going or you get on tough ground, because my neighbors' lawns are getting rough. There was old mining buildings back here, a mining operation, and these yards, through the erosion and these heavy storms, the yards are getting rough. They're washing out, and the stuff that they've backfilled. When a building used to burn years ago, they didn't remove the building and come in with dump trucks. They didn't have that technology up until the 1970s, and even then they were apprehensive. They didn't really realize the uh, toxic nature of some of the stuff that you're burying. So basically, from the 1600s in this area on up to probably the 70s and the 80s, when something burned, they pretty much buried it in its footprint, or whatever they couldn't carry away, or was, too obtrusive to cover over. So that stuff starts rotting out, and we're getting holes like this deep in the yards, not just potholes. I mean, the whole city's like that. I mean, this whole area is getting like craters, not to mention there's mines underneath everything. All right, let's get back to tractors. Okay, so my idea is to graft that steering system from that tractor, the Craftsman tractor, onto this tractor. And then over there is the deck. That's got another one of those. I'm going to fix it just like I did the other one, because the Troy built over there, that works nice now. I'm really proud of my work, and that was all part of buying some of this newer equipment, late model equipment that I have. I fabricated it. Like I said, it brought tears to my eyes how nice and smooth the deck was, and the cut. And I got the deck all leveled out. I got some of the stuff welded up that would keep the deck balanced. So that over there, I think I got to wash it off. That's another thing. Looks like William Shatner's toupee is stuck in the pulleys. So that deck will probably get taken, dissected, and painted. It's starting to rust at places worse than the other one. So before you bring that stuff in your shop, your garage, just like my buddy's wife got deathly ill, he brought parts in from the tractor. He's doing what I'm doing. He busted one tractor up last year, fixed the other, and he was bringing his shit in the house, and it's all full of that pollen. Not to mention we have insects that bite. Take a pressure washer. That's what I just did to this. I pressure washed it off. Okay. Now we'll get to my political commentary, okay? Because there was a young guy, 20 years old, I think it was near Tampa, Florida, had an arsenal that he was going to go around and do some kind of chaotic events. Now, that's a young brain, but the thing is, where did he get all this ammunition? And where I smell a CIA, three-letter agency, alphabet soup retard, a lot of this stuff was old boxes. Like, it would appear that maybe the kid acquired it online or from friends, but the hardware itself, the uniforms that he had, okay? This is what I'm telling you about. We have chaos incorporated in our government, okay? Mr. Trump, I have a superior intellect, and I'm going to fix everything on my first day. I'm going to get going. And you notice we still haven't got the Epstein list, and now we're getting smoke blown up our ass by the guy they built up to be our hero, Kash Patel. The Bulldog was going to go in there, Bongino, and start tearing balls off, and there'll be arrests. So all they're doing is going after the minor leagues, a few retarded mayors. you know, liberal activist. They're going after the liberal activists. They're not going after the source of the problem. Things are getting worse for the senior citizens, us disabled veterans, disabled people. The man, I do think he has brain power, but he's going about things all wrong. He needs presidential orders to make communism and socialism illegal, as I always had believed it was. Because when I was in the military, if you were into that shit, you were tossed out on your ass and most likely landed in Fort Carson or the other one down there in Asheville. Okay, they didn't fuck around with you. But this stuff that's it's getting out of hand with our president. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna huff. I'm gonna puff, and the house don't come down, and it ain't come down yet. Pelosi's still slithering around, making her little speeches and her little moves. So's AOC. Ill in the head, Omar there. Since when are foreigners allowed to serve in our Congress and lead people? They've forgotten all about the American people that voted them in office. We didn't have a breeze at all since early this morning, and now all of a sudden the winds are picking up, and it's ambulance season too. We just had 2 more ambulances come screaming through here. Trying to put things into a perspective that people understand what the parameters of what a perspective is. It's the way you look at something. I've got a mother, it's Mother's Day, and she was very depressed because usually we do something, we go shopping. None of us have any money to do anything. We're lucky that we're going to make it till next month. Okay? I just don't agree with a president that says, I'm going to huff, I'm going to puff, I'm going to take the house down. And there's even more chaos breaking loose. There's plans for attacks on our schools, our civil institutions. I mean, nobody's fond of law enforcement. What it's become is a business. Like I said, when you had lesbians, these fat bastards, telling us how to do our parenting and to put fathers in jail because they lost their job and couldn't find another job to pay what a judge says they got to pay. Okay? I knew there was a communist element from that day forward going when that stuff started happening to people, including me. Okay? I was not immune to it. I grew up very hard. I always worked, but it was never enough to satisfy. And that's where this is going with Israel. Your gas, everything that you depend on, your staples in life, have tripled, quadrupled, and have not come down. Now, it's different in some other areas. I always tell people that. Because there's people that said, hey, stuff come down drastically here. Well, we got one of them scumbag Democrat special guys with the hats for a governor. Okay? Our money's leaving going to Israel. Our roads are falling apart. Our infrastructure's falling apart. Our schools and institutions are full of these liberals in this state. Okay? And they're teaching these kids this bullshit. It's not America. America never will be communist. Now, the other agenda that China and the liberalists and the communists, where they got together on the same page, which necessarily you wouldn't think that would come to a pyramid, they want to destroy this country and make it communist. They want to be able to take over it. They want you that, like in England, they can do anything they want to you, your pets, your home. They can try to take everything from you. That's what these people are up to. They're going to own and control every aspect and every part of your life. So heed my words to call Washington, get on YouTube, blow your horn, and tell our president he is not doing what he promised to do. Okay? He's getting it shoved right up his ass, right in front of his face. And I think he's humiliated. I do think Trump is a bit humiliated because he doesn't have that same demeanor and he doesn't have that smirk on his face anymore. He realizes he's not getting by this. It's a larger force of enemies than he's ever thought and dreamed possible. How is that? Well, that was all that federal funding. And you see, he took one cookie jar away. So the next cookie jar they're going to go into is after you for taxes, past due, anything. They're going to go after you. Because if he's going to empty one cookie jar, they got to fill the other cookie jar to keep their agenda going and their wars over there in Israel and all over. Okay? There is an agenda to this, and anybody with any brain power, as I said, I was a problem solver. I back-engineered, reverse-engineered things. I'm surprised I didn't end up with Bob Lazar, but I don't think I was that bright. And I don't know if he was full of shit or whatever, but no, I never... I corrected design flaws. I've made that specifically clear in a lot of my videos. And I was a guy in civies because, like I said, I was a little different part of the military than people even know or dream exists. Take it from what I'm telling people too. Now is the time. I know you don't have a lot of money. I got to worry about getting gaskets for the exhaust on this if I can't reuse the other ones, and some parts that it's going to be hard. As I said, I've got a 88-year-old mother. Normally we go for pizza and stuff, and we go shopping. I take her to the stores. It's not happening. And as I said, our president's getting it shoved up his ass royally, and it's starting to show. People like me are noticing it. Maybe you want to let the president know he better get an executive handle that communism is illegal, this anarchy is illegal, promoting it is illegal, and if you're in the media and you're in the government, civil service, and you're promoting it, you're under arrest, you're coming with me, you're going to sit a couple of years. I think the divine winds of the Lord are speaking, maybe covering up my words, but as I said, they need to start landing their cans in a prison cell. You're not going to promote chaos and violence, okay? It was one of the things that when we signed our oath in the military to prevent happening in this country, is exactly what's going on. That's why there's a domestic enemies clause in our Constitution to defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now we have domestic enemies in our government promoting other ideals than our Americans. Americans are totally forgot about. That's why we're starving and can't pay our bills. Okay? As I said, I think the divine winds of the Lord are speaking to us. Praise is beautiful. Thank you for watching my videos, and I'll get going on this tractor, and I will show you exactly what my plans are. Uh-oh. The tractor's going to get a CAT scan. Orange Cat's here. Thank you for watching my videos.